With the Johnson & Johnson vaccine now on hold, we're looking into any possible warning signs for those who have already received the vaccine to be on the lookout for. Channel 7's Paris Kane has the advice tonight from health experts and how pharmacies are adapting.
It's important to note that so far less than 1 in a million people have experienced this blood clotting reaction, but it is very serious and it needs to be closer looked into.
And it's so early on, we really don't have a good hypothesis or a good theory of why this happened.
Since being approved for emergency use a little over a month ago, 6.8 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine have been given.
In that period of time, we've had 6 cases reported of an unusual clotting condition called cerebral sinus venous thrombosis.
Dr. Robert Hopkins with UAMS says the condition is highly uncommon and is associated with low levels of platelets. It can cause clots in the sinuses around the brain. It may cause increased pressure that could lead to surgery to remove it, or even death. It's been found in 6 women ages 18 to 48, none of which are from Arkansas.
Let's try to investigate and quickly get some answers, rather than potentially put people at risk when we've got other vaccines available that this has not been linked with.
The condition seems to occur within the first 2 weeks after getting the J&J vaccine. Dr. Hopkins says those who have already gotten the shot should look out for new severe migraine-like headaches that don't respond to medications, abdominal pain, leg pain or swelling, and sudden shortness of breath.
Now, all of those aren't necessarily associated with the cerebral sinus thrombosis, but those are all things that would make me think about evaluating somebody.
Harmony Health in Little Rock had a Johnson & Johnson vaccine clinic scheduled for this Thursday.
Luckily, our wonderful partners at the pharmacy at Wellington basically already had it handled before I probably even woke up this morning.
Hannah Vogler says Harmony will now be giving the Pfizer vaccine instead, followed by a second dose clinic on May 6th.
You know, I think the important thing is, like with everything, don't panic. Don't panic. We have options. Please continue to get your vaccine. It's so incredibly important.
You know, so many people are already on the fence about getting this vaccine, and hearing the news of this today probably rocked them a little bit. What would your advice be?
I think I understand people being fearful and concerned. What I would say is this is a signal that our systems to monitor for safety work.
The city of Conway also had a Johnson & Johnson clinic scheduled for Friday, but they've decided to move that over to Saturday, and they will now be doing Pfizer vaccines. Beth?
All right, Paris, thanks a lot. And you can find the details for both clinics on our website, KATV.com.